So let me share group 7 first. Okay, Zarif, please check kalau dah ada. Okay, Zarif, did you see?
Yes, we can see.
Nampak Yana, boleh nampak tak?
Okay.
Boleh
Boleh.
Okay, kita pergi ke group 7. Okay, group 7, assignment dia is you are safety manager of helicopter service provider. Please list down to SPIs. So it's flight Q1 2101. Okay, very good. Series number. Passenger bring prohibited item during crew change. Okay, 10 times per year. Okay, very good. To reduce to two times a year in 2022. Okay. So kalau saya nampak yang ni, saya akan kata reduction tu too much lah, too many lah. Biasanya 10 times per year tu, kita akan reduce dalam masa 2 tahun tu to 8 times for example. So dia akan based on kita punya performance lah. Dia akan berkurang sikit lah. Remember kalau yang tadi sampel yang kita tengok waktu my presentation just now, dia tunjuk contoh to reduce 12% per year kan. So kalau 12% per year tu around 1 or 2 lah dikurangkan, around that lah. So biasanya saya akan suggest, okay, SPI now is 10 times, I suggest you to reduce to 8 lah. For example macam itulah. Okay. Safety program in place, safety briefing to passengers, betul. Body and language screening prior to embarkation, okay, betul. Safety observation report, okay. Okay, yang ni saya kena zoom lah, makin tak nampak. To deploy advanced cabin baggage screening machine, example computer, okay. Emphasize DJ awareness during safety day at client, okay, very good. So 6 times per year sama juga. Biasanya kalau 6 ni, I suggest baggage on total waste manifest. 6 times a year ni biasa saya akan suggest untuk kurangkan kepada 5 times or 5 times a year lah. To reduce to 5 times. Kita biasa decrease secara perlahan-perlahan lah. Ataupun this year kita dah kurangkan siasat jadi 2 kan. Kat sini indikator kita kena 2 reduce to 1. Biasanya jaranglah kita kurang daripada 6 pada 1, 10 to 2 ni biasa jarang. Biasanya dalam grade 2 lah, lebih kurang 12% itu. Okay, annual calibration of weighing equipment by heli owner, betul. And then to include importance of, okay, very good. So in terms of safety program ni, very good. Thank you. So let us go to group number 8. Okay. 1A 2021, personnel falling down from maintenance platform. Okay. 3 times a year, reduce to 2 times a year by year. Okay, very good. Betul. So mandatory use of personnel safety harness for working off high. Okay, betul. Body system for all working at height work. Okay. Further recommended compulsory training on working. Okay, very good. And the second one, FOD and holiday. Okay, very good. 3 times a year. Okay, kalau nak cantikkan FOD found on helideck. Itu lagi cantik lah. FOD on helideck ni lagi cantik. Tapi yang ni pun dah betul lah. 3 times a year. Reduce to 1 time year by 2023. Okay, betul. Daily check by helideck crew. Awareness program. Okay, very good job. So conclusion is, I think all of us really understand what is SPI SPT. So after kita dah go through example just now pun, kita lagi faham lagi. So lah tu yang maximum lah. That are the example that the one already approved. So I think allow me to continue again going through the LSP just now. Even lepas tu pun allow me to go on another LOSP from another airport lah, so that kita ada different idea. How actually LOSP yang kita okay lah, kita accept. Semua aerodrome air operator yang kita dah certify ni kita accept. But the thing is when you do some review tu, kita check balik memang ada kena correction lah. So that's the thing. Okay, let me share just now, kita continue. Yang just now punya example, share screen. Okay, now kita tengok tadi runway incursion we have seen just now. Okay, the measures is conduct daily briefing, NOTAM issuance of significant change of facility procedures, continue review NOTAM to strengthen resource into manpower, new technology, betul. Merit or demerit system for staff control on safety effort. Okay, merit tu okay, demerit tu bolehlah kita pertimbangkan kan. Continuous training for or refresher to all employees who move around the airport operation, very good, memang kena pun. In fact, benda ni sepatutnya memang dah kita kena buat lah. Bukan kita baru nak buat, tapi I guess by now kita dah buat lah benda-benda ni. Okay, taxiway incursion, yang ni kurang sikit seriousness of just now. So one time a year, so there's some airport dia letak kat sini one time a year kan. Tapi sebab taxiway incursion ni dia tidak berapa serious, sometimes dia akan letak 2 times, 3 times a year for example. So achieve 0, tapi okey lah, dah 1 bagus lah sebab dia kosong semua kan. So maintain one time a year by tentu, betul. Regular inspection by duty officer. Okay. Yang ini cuba relatekan lah. Macam for example this regular inspection by duty officer ni, how it relates to taxiway incursion. Yang tu kena relate lah. Kalau saya audit, if I'm going to audit, I will ask the airport operator, can you relate why safety program regular inspection by duty officer ni related to taxiway incursion? Kalau you boleh explain, saya terima lah. So kalau you cannot explain, I think kita boleh take out lah this one. Conduct daily safety briefing work, very relevant. Proper maintenance program for markings, betul. Conduct safety awareness to staff, betul. NOTAM issuance on significant change of facilities, okay. To execute aerodrome operating minimum when required, okay. Continue review NOTAM, okay. So itu Okay, next number 10, safety feedback on safety complaint, 5 times a year, maintain 5 times a year, very good. So bila I go for audit, I will want to see, can you show me all these 3, 4 ni, I want to see. Sebab remember yesterday I said kalau kita buat safety review ke, safety apa ke, safety survey, kita mesti ada feedback. That's why I want to see. This 3, 4 ni kita ada feedback tak kat dia. And then certain relevant inputs tu, adakah we do something about it? Kalau ada komplain berkenaan something safety issues dekat airport kita, what do we do? Kita entertain tak dia punya safety complaint tu, that's the kind of thing. So itu yang penting. So dalam kes yang ini, dia bukan not only banyak, bagus, sikit, kurang, tapi the thing is, every time we receive any safety feedback atau complaint, kita kena entertain good, kita kena entertain nicely, kita kena layan dengan baik. We have to ensure, first, kita beri feedback, terima kasih data safety ni, kita akan ambil tindakan sewajarnya. So kita kena vet through lah, whether the complaint is relevant or not. Sometimes memang kita dapat komplain macam-macam dari orang kan, so kita kena vet through whether relevant or not. Tapi saya sangat suka apa tau? Saya sangat suka komplain daripada pilot sebenarnya. I always say to pilot, what do you think about our airport in Malaysia? Are you satisfied with our runway? Pasal actually, kita punya airport ni, even kita punya ATS service, sebenarnya kita provide service to kita punya pilot sebenarnya, airlines kita, our aircraft kan. So the best feedback that we can get is from the pilots. That's why kita ada RST, Runway Safety Team. Runway Safety Team ni is regular meeting between ATC, operator dengan pilots. So during this meeting, kita akan dapat sincere input daripada pilot. That's why kita kena entertain juga pilot punya komplain ni, pasal dia real user. Kalau saya akan tanya pilot lah, Captain, are you satisfied with runway XX airport tak? Okay lah Ji, compared to another country, our runway quite good. Saya pun, okay, Alhamdulillah, lapang dada saya. Marking macam mana? Marking boleh lah, baik okay sikit. That's why, please remember this. The best input is from the pilot lah sebenarnya. Pasal kita nak take off our runway, taxiway, apron. Usually kalau pilot say it's okay, okay. Out of 10 pilot say our runway is okay, 9 of it says okay, okay. Tapi kalau out of 10, 1 kata okay, 9 kata tak okay, it means you have to do something about your runway lah. Macam tu. And another thing is on marking kan. Marking ni the best pilot memang the best judgement is from pilot lah. Kalau saya akan suka tanya lah pilot. How do you see our marking from up there when you are approaching? Oh, okay Haji. Oh, the marking is excellent. There was one time I land at one airport. Dia punya pilot tu is my friend lah, kawan-kawan RST kan. So bila dia announce captain tu je, saya ikut prosedur betul Saya request dulu cabin crew dia nak masuk. Kalau tak benarkan saya tak nak masuk. So it happened dalam seating yang ketiga tu ada kosong. So he allows me to masuk. So dia bagi saya safety procedure semua. So saya pun dia panggil apa, jump seat kot. So I kena my seat belt after procedure semua. So I monitor the landing at the airport. So during landing dia tak cakap apa. That's the procedure. So saya tengok je. After landing boleh cakap, okay Tuan Haji, can you see the marking very good. We can see from up there. Nampak the lights, the puppy very good. So actually that's the input that we want to listen from the pilot, the real user. That's why during RST you must treasure tau. You must treasure during RST meeting when there's attendance from our ATC, our pilots and airport operator. The idea of IQ, dia nak dapatkan some coordination between three of you kan. The input from ATC, the input from pilot, so that we can improve. Sometimes kita pun boleh minta ATC dan pilot, kita boleh suggest certain thing. So that's the good thing about this RST meeting. So maknanya kita encourage safety feedback ni, especially daripada pilot. Kalau turun-turunnya pilot kata, wah, your runway is very rough lah. Atau sometimes I hardly see your marking at apron. I can see only water je. Yang tu you kena fikir sikit lah. Oh, dia ni lah bersinar-sinar, itu air sudah menenggelamkan itu marking, saya tak nampak. Yang tu you kena make sure you kena make sure you entertain that kind of complaint. Okay, so for SPI SPT related to safety feedback complaint ni is not in term of number. This one lebih kepada macam kita tadi kan, dia kata macam qualitative. How you treat, how you entertain every safety complaint tu. Kalau you treat it okay, maknanya okay lah. So be careful Maknanya tak semestinya tinggi so rendah. Sometimes high is very good. Macam airlines. Airline ni dia ada very good safety culture. One captain told me, per year they have thousands of safety complaints. Very good. 5,000 safety complaints. Dulu saya ada minta airport operator untuk beri pada saya lah. How many safety reporting, bukan safety complaint, safety reports. How many safety report per year? Sekarang ni saya dah jarang dapat lah. So kalau boleh after this mungkin airport boleh maklum pada kami how many per year you punya safety issues Semualah. Safety data ke, safety found on apa benda issue ke, safety complaint. Berapa ribu setahun saya nak tengok kat. Certain company kata the more you report the better. Okay. So that is one example lah. Okay, allow me to go to the next example. So this one is a very good LOSP. Except ada some minor touch up lah, but that one is okay. So I hope by showing all of you this LOSP example, which I already touch up some correction etc. It helps you participant, dia membantu tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Bila you all balik dekat airport nanti, you tahu bila your boss suruh review you punya LOSP, you know what to do. Saya beritahu one by one tadi kan, you know what to do, what is you want to review. So that when we go to audit you, kuranglah sikit dia punya teguran-teguran, komen-komen tu. So very important. Okay, allow me to look on the second example. Okay, just now format dia Microsoft Word. This time format dia Microsoft Excel. So if you ask me which one you prefer, both can as long as it is easily readable lah. Senang baca. Kadang-kadang you kena fikirlah auditor macam kita orang ni, human factor kan. Kalau senang baca tu okey lah sikit. Kalau susah baca tu challenge lah sikit. Jadi fikir-fikirlah. Okay, so this one is example for I don't tegur langsung pasal formatting, cuma make sure it is easily readable by not only us auditor but also sometimes yang management pun nak tengok juga kan. So tengok pastikan. Okay, Zarif, can you confirm to me kalau I dah share this Excel presentation, Excel. Can you see, Zarif?
Yes, I can see, Haji.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this airport, dia format dia pakai Excel. So, I think okay. Okay, tak ada masalah. So, dia ada cover page, which is very good. Okay. Okay, this is the first LSP. Okay, let us see. Okay, sama juga aircraft related ground incident. Kat sini dia tak cakap accident, dia cakap incident. So, calculation method per case reported, 1 case per year to maintain 1 case by 2022. Very good. Cumanya nampak tak kat sini dia ada some column on aircraft movement kan. So, I guess kalau waktu zaman kita guna index dulu, column on aircraft movement ni relevan. So, saya harap airport operator dapat pastikan you punya LOSP ni sebenarnya SPI SPT ni you guna index ke ataupun numeric number. Kalau macam you guna numeric number, tak perlulah aircraft movement. Tapi kat sini nampak macam per case reported kan. Jadi I think column ni. Tapi kalau you intend nak tukar jadi index, kat sini relevant. It means that macam inilah. 2019, 20,000 aircraft movement. 18,000, 17,000. So kita akan divide lah. 1 over 20,000 berapa, 3 over 20,000 berapa. So kalau kita decide untuk gunakan numeric, so this column tak perlu. Okay, kat sini this airport operator ada inisiatif asingkan case by stakeholder, case by MSB. Okay. So it's okay for you to put. Kalau tak put pun tak apa. It's up to you. So usually kita concern pasal both lah sebenarnya. Remember SPI SPT not only nak tunjukkan whether we are good or not good, but the thing if anything happen, incident, how we treat the incident. For example, there are some airports dia ada flying school kan. So bila ada flying school ni, incident yang selalu berlaku is on the flying school. So somebody told me, Haji, macam mana kita nak control? Ni flying school punya budak-budak lah, dia selalu jatuh kan. Ya, understand lah. Cuma mungkin kita boleh just remind lah kita punya counterpart from flying school, dia punya pengetua dia, just cakap dengan dia, can you avoid this thing from happening? Ada some case tu, budak pilot tu, student pilot tu bawa bag, knapsack, masuk dalam pintu kapal terbang pintu tak tutup, itu jatuh atas runway ke taxiway kan. So that kind of thing. Memanglah benda tu done by kita punya bukan not us counterpart, tapi as airport operator you are itulah responsible on all stakeholders, so you can do something lah. You can do something by advising him or not. You have the authority. Macam ada sometime aircraft spillage for example, you ada authority, you can say okay, I give you last chance. After this kalau spillage lagi, I will tak bagilah you masuk kita punya airport, something like that. Memanglah business tak bagus, tapi in terms of safety you have the right. Sometimes dia disobey marshaller, dia pergi langgar sana sini. Sebenarnya kita boleh marah dia, kita boleh tegur dia pasal kita airport operator. Bukan dia yang tegur kita, kita yang tegur dia pasal we are the authority. Under regulation Malaysia ni, airport operator is the authority lah. Kalau certain time kita landing dekat certain airport kan, dekat luar negara, dia akan cakap this is directive from airport authority. Airport authority tu macam dia punya airport operator lah. So dia the one who decide. Dia yang issue permit kan, dia boleh tarik permit, dia boleh tarik ADP, AVP, dia boleh tak bagi orang masuk PAS. So everything is your responsibility. Kita punya government, kita dah bagi certificate kat you tu, maknanya you are authorized to operate the airport and you have the right to tegur sana tegur sini lah. Okay. Sama lah juga macam case ni. Kalaupun the case is by stakeholders, you have the right lah to ambil tahu. Okay, for example, sometimes ada fuel spillage. Saya tanya why? Oh ni Haji, because dia punya fuel browser punya operator ni budak baru je. Okay, itu pun you ada right nak tegur dia. You boleh tanya, okay Petronas atau Shell, can you show us the training record for you punya staff? I'm sorry tuan, itu confidential. Okay, confidential. Tomorrow I don't give you entry to our airport. You buat macam tu je. You have the right, You have the right to ask. What's training? Airline pun sama juga. Ini budak-budak bawa kereta ni ada training tak? Ini dapat JPJ punya lesen tengah probation P pun dah bawa itu besar punya traktor semuanya kan, mana boleh kan. Kat luar you tak dapat lesen lori, masuk dalam airport kita you bawa lori, that kind of thing. You have the right you have the right to ask them, we need you to train your staff, kata dengan dia. And I want to see your punya tu, then only we will issue you a ADP. So to answer that, maknanya even though sometimes certain case ni by stakeholder, you as operator you have the right to say something. Kita government, kita sudah authorize you. Okay, every inch dalam square tu is under your jurisdiction. Okay, so clear. So these are the safety programs. So here there are many safety programs, which is very good. Maknanya benda ni dulu some of them is recommended for the action, tapi dia sudah transfer ni atas sini, which is very good lah. Okay, so next one, dia airport ni cerita pasal non-aircraft related incident. Okay, maknanya vehicle accident ke, kadang-kadang kenderaan jatuh longkang ke. So dia letak 2 case per year, to maintain 2 case very good. So, you remember tadi pun ada, ni pun ada, dia punya performance dia. But here dia kata case by stakeholder, okay juga. Okay, and then ada aircraft movement. Again, macam saya cakap, I think kalau you ambil per case reported, you don't have to put this aircraft movement lah. Tapi kalau maybe one day you nak upgrade kepada index ke, you just fill lah berapa aircraft movement kat sini. Again, very good. Ada banyak safety program. So if I have got time during my audit, I will go through one by one lah. If I got time. Biasanya saya audit cuma 2.5 days. Tolak opening, tolak closing sudah berapa jam saja kan. Jadi tengoklah keadaan. Biasanya my auditor instinct tu akan show me lah what to check, what not to check. Okay, the third SPSPT for this airport is on the oil spillage. Very good. Calculation dia per case reported. Sama juga kat sini pun ada aircraft movement. So dia macam tak tally lah. Saya harap akan datang airport operator, please go back to your LSP, check back. Check maknanya kalau you kata ni guna index, yang ni relevan. Tapi kalau you tak guna index, take out. I think this one maybe I take daripada lama punya kot. Tahun yang dulu, sekarang semua dah okey. Tapi tak apa. All certified aerodrome 20, I hope you after training you go back, you look at your LSP, make sure kalau kat sini kata 3 case per year, make sure aircraft movement ni tak ada cerita lah. Kecuali kata, tak apa Ji, saya just nak cerita je supaya rekod. Terpulang lah, boleh juga. Alang-alang ada ruang, isi je lah. So it's up to you. Okay, I let it to you. Tapi saya nak cerita, kalau make sure, kalau sini case, kat sini tak perlu index. Okay, these are the safety program for oil spillage, recommended further action. Okay, the fourth one is on bird strike. The fifth one is on, the fifth one is on wildlife. The sixth one is on FOD on runway, very good. And then next is on FOD on taxiway. Okay. Lepas tu, FOD on apron, very good. Alhamdulillah. Dulu waktu initially I audit airport operator, hardly to get even 5 SPSPT. Now we already got belas-belas sometimes. So which is very good. Very good perkembangan lah. Teruskan lah. Runway safety condition, 0.53 MU, very good. This one, taxiway incursion, radio communication failure with ATC, file a complaint. Very good. Okay, so I hope by showing these 2 examples, all of the trainees, all of you now have got really good understanding. Saya harap dengan tunjukkan di 2 example ni, semua participant training ni betul-betul nampak. After this, after you go back, kalau you punya airport manager beritahu, okay, DODOs, okay, HOO, I want to review balik. And then you require to submit to us lah. Kadang-kadang kan, kadang-kadang saya minta juga. Kadang-kadang saya kata, just you punya HQ je lah, control, I trust them. Okay, now I want you to resubmit to HQ regularly. So please review balik. So review lah. Siapa chair? Maybe airport manager chair ke, ataupun you punya HOO chair ke, and then you review. So you know what to review because I have gone one by one kan. So I've gone through one by one. Okay, so very clear. Kalau you ada certain thing lagi yang tak clear saya SPI SPT, please you throw dalam chat room kalau ada masa saya akan cuba jawab lah. Okay. So I think allow me to move to our, so I hope everybody dah clear. Kita nak tutup buku pasal SPI SPT ni. So I hope everybody clear. So kita akan pergi pada satu lagi topik yang sangat penting, which is safety risk management. Our high rank. Ini pun penting dalam SMS. So this time training, I design my training to suit whatever thing that I think I need to highlight. Waktu audit saya selalu jumpa. Jadi I need to highlight. Jadi benda ni please take opportunity, you focus. Kalau ada ngantuk-ngantuk, you pergi kunyah sikit gula-gula ke, ada air mineral tu. Kalau tak cukup minum, you pergi basuh muka. Jadi janji mata kita tak mengantuk. Pasal takut-takut kita miss out certain thing yang I want to talk. Okay, allow me to open my next slide. Okay. Okay. So IQ guna perkataan SRM. SRM ni macam safety risk management. Lebih kurang sama lah. Safety risk management ni antara kandungannya adalah high rank lah. Samalah macam bila kita cakap on safety assessment kan. Tapi bila kita cerita pasal Helideck punya environment, bila saya jadi chairman Helideck committee tu, Helideck punya community ni selalu guna perkataan risk assessment. For me, risk assessment, safety assessment lebih kurang sama. Cumanya dalam IQ document ni, dia always guna perkataan safety assessment. So that's why I want to maintain perkataan safety assessment. Tapi bila kita pergi tengok pada Helideck tu, dia guna RA tu. So I assume RA dia tu sama standard dengan kita punya safety assessment lah. So jangan confuse dengan all this term. So safety risk management ni adalah on kita punya ni lah, kita punya high rank lah sebenarnya. Okay Zarif, can you check after this I want to share. Okay, this one. Okay, nampak Zarif?
Nampak Haji.
Okay, thank you. So let us go. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kita pergi kepada safety risk management. So these are the topic yang IQ kata the most important thing dalam SMS lah. That's why during initial stage kita implement SMS ke airport around 2007 if I'm not mistaken. Saya sangat stress lah. The minimum that kita expect from an airport, you must have SRM, safety risk management atau high rank. So untuk airport-airport yang baru nak berdekat SMS ni, memanglah you kena ada semua, tapi minimum dia you kena ada in place a very sound safety risk management process. And then you submit, jangan lupa submit LSP dengan submit high rank. SMM manual memang kena submit, tapi jangan lupa submit dia punya current LSP dengan ni high rank. So after this, you all dah submit pada saya, dah kami. So make sure you go balik, the one that you submit to us tu ada tak penambahbaikan? Kalau ada, silalah tambah baik and resubmit to us. Sebab saya baru go through some of the high rank dengan LOS tu, nampak macam ada beberapa penambahbaikan. So hopefully after saya dah go through ni, you all akan tambah baik and please resubmit to us. The sooner the better. Okay. Okay, next let us go to safety risk management. Okay. It's a key component of safety management. IQ kata, IQ says that SRM is a key component of safety management. So kalau lah somebody ask me, Haji, can you look at our company ni, ada tak SMS? Okay, fair enough. Can you show me your SRM? Oh, that one under next phase lah Haji, fasa 4. Tak boleh lah itu macam. Pasal apa? SRM ni must be first phase of SMS. Dia kena ada dulu. Okay, so fail lah maknanya. So kata, oh belum lah, you belum ada SMS lah. For Helideck inspector, make sure the minimum they must have the safety risk management. I think most Helideck dah ada, kan, takkan tak ada. Okay, barulah dia ada SMS. Okay, includes hazard identification, safety risk assessment, safety risk mitigation and risk acceptance. So kalau orang kata apa benda yang ada dalam safety risk management, Termasuklah kita punya HIREC, hazard mitigation, risk assessment, risk mitigation. Ni HIREC lah ni. Safety risk management ni, HIREC adalah sebahagian daripada SRM. It's a part of SRM. It's a continuous activity. Macam saya kata tu, jangan sekali buat, you submit to us, that's it. I require you to review. Some airport maybe 4 times a year, some airport 3 times a year. And this scheme must be reflected in your document SMM manual. So saya akan compare lah. Bila kita pergi audit nanti, kita tengok, okay, dalam you punya SMM manual, you kata you nak review SRM ni 3 times a year. Make sure 3 times a year. Kalau 4 times a year, make sure 4 times a year. Jangan sekali-kali kita tak aware apa yang mention dalam SMM manual. So balik ni, please, go through your SMM manual back. Go through your HIREC. Go through your LOSP. Review balik. And then resubmit to us. Okay? I don't mind. You submit to anytime to us. Haji minta komen, I will comment. InsyaAllah kalau ada masa lah. I will comment and get back to you. Okay? So it's a continuous activity. Because the aviation system is constantly changing. Penerbangan awam kita ni sentiasa berubah. Kadang-kadang kapal besar masuk, kadang-kadang kapal kecil masuk. Kadang-kadang kapal kargo, kadang-kadang kapal kargo convert to passenger, kadang passenger convert to cargo. Kadang-kadang Antonov from Rusia datang. Kita ada ke Bay Antonov? So sentiasa berubah. Sometimes 77 Max barunya. Kadang-kadang ada royalty from other country datang bawa kapal terbang besar. That kind of thing. New hazards can be introduced and some hazard and associated safety risk may be changed over time. Jadi hazard baru sentiasa ada. So kita buat SMS ni all about kita tackling the hazard. Remember first example saya cakap, hazard je adalah pencuri kan. So kita kena tackle hazard ni, macam-macam measures. Every day kita make sure our house is closed, lock dan sebagainya. Sebelum tidur baca ayat kursi 3 kali dan sebagainya. All the effort is for to tackle this hazard. The effectiveness of implemented SRM strategies must be monitored. You must monitor. Good lah macam 4 times a year tu good. More than that pun tak apa kan. If there is a need arise. To determine if further action is required. You kena tengok validity punya SRM tu. Kadang-kadang you kena buat further action, so you kena tengok. Okay? Okay, in aviation, a hazard can be considered as a dormant, inactive potential. Macam harimau belum kena kejut lah, macam-macam. For harm which is present in one form or another within the system or its environment. Benda tu sentiasa ada, tapi belum dikejutkan je. Dia akan awake when somebody trigger it, something trigger it. So itulah hazard sebenarnya. So please be careful. This potential for harm may appear in different forms. For example, as a natural condition. For example, train, Bukit Bukau macam mana mau alih. So itu hazard. Certain airport di tengah-tengah Bukit Bukau in maintenance area. So it's a hazard. What can we do kan? Or technical status. For example, runway marking. Yang runway marking hazard kita boleh. Apa hazard on runway marking? Faded runway marking. Yang itu kita boleh buat. Jadi kita tolong-tolonglah touch up. Okay? That's why runway marking ni, I always encourage airport operator get the input from pilot as frequent as possible lah. Sometimes kita dekat bawah ni kata-kata, oh, okay, marking kami putih. Putih. Tapi setengah orang kata, macam kuning, yellowish. Who's the best judge? Pilot. Pilot, ada somebody says our runway marking yellowish, can you verify? Correct lah, tapi saya selalu diam lah. Saya pernah cakap, I nampak you punya side stripe yellowish lah. Kalau gitu betul lah tu. Jadi, maknanya benda-benda tu is a hazard. Okay? So make sure benda-benda tu kita kena jaga. Sama juga sometimes runway faded dan sebagainya. I think the best input, kita pun boleh. Kita pun ada sometimes somebody tell me ada satu machine yang nak measure intensity of marking, which is very good lah. Tapi the best judgement is from the pilot lah. Rarely lah pilot tipu lah. Dia nampak jelas, dia kata, no lah, you punya pudar. No, rarely lah. Biasanya pilot akan bagi sincere input. Okay, hazard are an inevitable part of aviation activities. Dia tak boleh, cannot be avoided, tidak boleh dielak. Benda tu ada. Cuma kita ni control je. However, there are possible consequences. Okay, sometimes IQ check consequences ni maknanya risk lah. Consequences ni lebih kurang risk lah. atau kesan atau efek daripada hazard tu. However, their possible consequences can be addressed through mitigation strategies. Itu yang kita kata mitigation. Mitigation ni apa maksud dia? To make it less milder, to make it milder. Milder ni lebih ringan. Kalau macam air sirap tu, you tambah 1 sudu, 2 sudu 1 gelas. Kalau you nak lagi milder tu, you tambah 2 gelas lah. Jadi sirap tu lagi cair kan? Itulah. Jadi mitigation ni maknanya to make benda tu lagi cair, lagi kurang. To reduce the impact dia. Which aim to contain the potential of the hazard to result in an unsafe condition. Hazard ada, kemungkinan consequences pun ada. So kita boleh cuba elakkan atau kita make it milder. Kita mitigate dia, kurangkan. Kita tak boleh make the risk zero. The risk is still there. For example, pagi tadi nak pergi office Putrajaya, nak pergi Putrajaya mesti jam. Kan kita kadang terpaksa slow kan. The risk of kita hitting in front punya car tu ada. Risiko untuk kita hentam kita depan tu ada. Tapi kita kena kurangkan lah. Macam mana cara nak kurangkan risiko? Keep distance lah. Kalau kita main rapat aja, risiko dia lebih lah. So keep distance. Dulu cikgu driving saya ajar apa? 1001, 1002 kan? 1000, 1002. Kira. Macam itu konsep dia. Tapi many drivers, bukan many lah, some driver I see very near. So bila very near tu maknanya, you tak mitigate the risk. The risk is there. Risiko tu ada. Risiko you hentam kereta depan tu ada. Tetapi, how you mitigate it, how you make it milder by safe distance. Sama juga risiko COVID-19 sekarang ni. Okay? Macam mana kita nak mitigate the risk? Apa dia? 3S, 3W semua tu kan. Itu mitigation measure satu. Wear your mask. Okay? Safe distances, physical distance dan sebagainya. So itu semua adalah untuk mitigate the risk. Risk tetap ada, tapi mitigate the risk. Now, the best mitigation is by injection of vaccine. Walaupun ramai takut, termasuk saya nak register. Okay, ini selingan je lah. Okay. Aviation can coexist with hazard so long as they are controlled. So maknanya aviation ni, we can maintain the aviation activities. Can coexist with hazard. As long all the hazards are being controlled. Ingat hazard tetap ada. Traffic jam is a hazard. Why traffic jam hazard? Dia boleh menyebabkan accident. Tapi kita kena control lah traffic jam tu. Kena sabar lah. Kena set mind lah kan. Kena set mind. Alah, sekejap ni. Lagi 10 minit I can plus salah tinggi ni. Okay. Saja nak comfort mind kan. Memang betul pun. Tapi nak minimize the risk, keep your safe distance for example. Okay. Acceptable. Takkan kata, oh lama, I want to avoid lah risk zero, error zero. Okay lah, tak payah pergi office lah. Pergi pukul 10 pagi lah. Habislah punch card saya kan. That kind of thing. Okay. You have to face the risk as long as the hazard is being controlled. Remember. Okay, hazard identification is the first step in the SRM processes. So bila people ask you what are the process of SRM, apa proses SRM? The first step you must identify hazard. Sebab tu nama dia high rank. HI. HI ni maknanya hazard identification. RA apa? Risk assessment. RC apa? Risk control. Itu datang high ranknya. Jadi jangan takutlah. After this, if you see the word high rank, don't scare. It's actually stand of three things. HI, RA, RC. Hazard identification, risk assessment, risk control. Ingat tulis lah dekat you punya kertas. Kalau in classroom ni saya akan pergi whiteboard, saya akan conteng lah. Tapi now sebab online, you ada pen, you ada kertas, tulis HI, RA, RC. Hazard identification, risk assessment, risk control. Short form dia HIRAC. Senang je kan. Okay. So hazard identification is the first step in the SRM process. Okay. It precedes, comes before a safety risk assessment. Jadi mula-mula kita identify hazard dulu. Lepas tu baru kita pergi risk assessment kan. And requires a clear understanding of hazards and their related consequences. Okay, consequences ni kesan. After this saya akan I will show you one video on bow tie. I will show one video. So kat situ dia akan tunjukkan example of this bow tie concept lah, which is very good for us to understand what is consequences, what is hazard, dan sebagainya, how to control. So very good, very short video, 1 minute atau 2 minute dia akan show after this. Okay. Hazard identification focus on condition or object. Macam saya kata tadi, previously definition dia ada COA, condition, object, activity. Tapi yang latest ni IQ dah jadikan condition, activity, object. Dulu saya suka dah tanya orang IQ bila dia present kat seminar ke, why IQ always ubah definition ubah itu dia diam ya. Sebenarnya dalam IQ pun ada orang yang berbeza pendapat kan. Jadi new definition bila itu pun new definition. But that's not a problem lah. As long as we get the latest document IQ, so this is the latest by IQ, CO je. Tapi kalau dulu you pernah training dengan saya zaman 2007 tu, I remember lagi. Kita ada COA, condition, object, activity. But now it's already only C and O je. Okay. Hazard identification focus on condition or objects that could cause or contribute to the unsafe operation of aircraft or aviation related equipment, product and services. Okay. Maknanya kat sini dia kata hazard identification ni focus on condition object. Apa contoh condition? Bad weather condition. Busyness of apa ni orang kata, traffic jam condition. Kalau dekat airport tu, airport busy, runway fully occupied, ataupun untrained drivers, tu semua condition. Object apa pula? FOD object, birds object, tree object. Nanti saya tunjuk sampel. Okay. So now we know actually bila kita hazard dia is either a condition or object. Condition apa? Condition ni adalah condition lah. Condition ni adalah suasana lah kot. Condition. Object ni adalah object. Okay. That could cause or contribute, apa object condition yang boleh menyebabkan unsafe operation of aircraft or aviation safety related equipment. Okay. ILS kita ke problem due to, for example, macam mana ILS dulu problem? ILS boleh problem kalau ada somebody block dia. Kan? Kalau you dalam kawasan glide paths punya critical area tu ada kapal terbang macam dekat certain airport tu, dia akan buat gangguan. So, hazard lah tu. Kan? Okay. Products and services. Okay. So, clear ya? Okay, I give you example to make you clearer. Same house lah, tapi different scenario. A very beautiful house. There's a road going to the house. Ni kita punya kereta lah. Kita punya lah. My real car is Vios buruk kan. Tapi this one is macam Volkswagen kot. Cantik. Ini jadi kat Google kan. Okay. So there is a tree in front of the house. So the scenario is, okay, cuba kita tengok apa scenario dia. What will be the activity? Apa aktiviti dia? Bila kita nak buat ni lah, high rate kita ni. Aktiviti dia ialah car going to enter the porch of the house lah. Lebih kurang macam itulah. Kereta yang mahu memasuki rumah kan. Okay. Itu dia aktiviti dia. Apa pula dia punya hazard? What is the hazard? Okay. Kalau dalam classroom saya akan tanyalah seorang-seorang. Tapi sebab tak ada classroom, saya jawab sendirilah. Okay, the hazard is, what do you think? The hazard, okay lah, saya benarkanlah on mic. Saya boleh cakap apa dia hazard kat sini.
Pokok.
Pokok okay. Lagi, siapa lagi boleh cakap pokok?
Batu.
Surface condition.
Batu.
Surface condition.
Batu tu Haji.
Batu. Okay. Good suggestion. Okay, ada lagi sebelum saya tutup mic?
Surface condition.
Atas jalan, pokok atas jalan.
Okay, very good. Okay, now can you switch off please? Kalau 200 orang semua cakap memang jam lah kan. Thank you very much. Okay. Ada somebody cakap pokok atas jalan. Okay, everything is correct. Dia macam ni. Bila cerita pasal hazard ni, dia ada generic hazard dengan specific hazard. I can say generic hazard dia adalah pokok. Tapi kalau you now want to make it specific, you kena cakap pokok yang menghalang di tengah jalan between kereta dengan rumah. The trees that is located on the way from you entering by your car to the house. Lebih kurang macam itulah. Tapi kalau kita buat dalam bentuk perkataan tu, kita boleh cantikkanlah dia punya grammar dia. Kalau kita kata pokok saja, dia generik sikit. Dia kena dispesifikkan dengan pokok yang berada di tengah jalan antara kereta dengan rumah. Example lagi satu. Kalau dekat airport you kata burung. Burung is a hazard. Itu generik je. Yang spesifik dia apa? Burung yang berada di airport. Yang tu specific hazard. Sebab apa? Burung yang berada di dekat pagar luar-luar tu dia tak kacau pun. Biarlah dia, takkan nak tembak dia kan. That's why to be specific hazard dia ialah burung yang berada di kawasan pendaratan, take off and landing tu yang boleh mengganggu pesawat, which can bring hazardous effect to the aircraft operation, for example. Okay, that's why nanti kita go through kita punya hierarchy ni, kita akan make sure dia punya hazard tu is specifically explained, or else dia macam tak nampak sangat. Dulu waktu saya pergi training dekat Singapore dengan IQ tu, bila kita bagi hazard yang agak generic, the trainer will tegur. Dia kata, oh you have to make it specific. So dalam kes ni, pokok tu generic, you kena letak pokok yang berada di tengah-tengah antara you punya kereta nak masuk ke rumah. The trees which is located between on the way to your car tu. Pasal apa dia jadi hazard? Pasal aktiviti dia, kereta nak masuk, dia boleh jadi mendatangkan bahaya lah kepada kereta tu. Okay. So now what is the risk? Okay, semua tadi dah betul lah. Cakap pokok yang berada pada atas jalan tu adalah satu hazard, dah betul. Apa risiko dia? Okay, dibenarkan buka mic lagi sekali. 5 saat, 10 saat dah sekarang. What is the risk? Siapa boleh jawab?
Cedera akibat ditimpa pokok.
Apa dia?
Cedera akibat ditimpa pokok. Ataupun
Okay.
kerosakan kenderaan.
Anything else? Ada lain-lain?
Tak ada pagar. Jalan masuk tak ada pagar.
Lagi?
Risiko pokok tumbang.
Okey. Lagi?
Accident.
Okey. Okey. 2 saat. Okey dah.
Unable to reach house.
Okey, thank you very much. Okey, dalam my simple example ni, the easiest risiko is kereta melanggar pokok. Macam tu. Yang mengakibatkan kecederaan. Bolehlah cedera tu passenger. Tapi for this case sebenarnya, paling senang ialah risiko dia kereta melanggar pokok. So the consequence orang cedera ke orang apa, tapi risiko dia, the risk is kereta melanggar pokok. So understand. Kita ulang balik, aktiviti dia adalah kereta memasuki kawasan rumah. The hazard is not just tree. The tree which is located between the car and the house. Kan? Pokok yang berada antara kereta dengan rumah. Tapi dia punya risiko dia yang paling mudah ialah kereta melanggar pokok. Apa nak bezakan risiko dia? Bila a risk tu dia ada severity probability, kan? Itu jadi risk lah tu. Pokok tu belum ada severity probability lagi. So itu belum risk, itu hazard. Sometimes kita mistaken antara risk dengan hazard. So IQ kata nak bezakan apa? Kalau you nampak benda tu ada severity dengan probability, itu jatuh pada risk. Okay, for example now when we say kereta langgar pokok, dia dah ada severity belum? Dah. Severity dia kereta kemik teruk ke, orang cedera ke, atau cala sikit ke, atau tangga makeup ke, apa-apa kan. Sometimes ialah stewardess balik tengah makeup tiba-tiba langgar, rosaklah makeup dia, macam itulah kan. Minor lah tu ataupun negligible. Okay. Tapi dia dah ada severity. Okay, apa probability dia? Berapa kekerapan dia? Setahun sekali ke? Setahun 2 kali ke? So, since both of it already there, dua-dua dah ada, maka itu telah jadi risiko. Faham So, I hope this simple concept can make you understand. Simple concept ni saya harap everybody faham. Semua orang faham. This is actually the concept of differentiating between hazard and risk. Okay. So, kalau you dapat this concept, maknanya kemungkinan you nak terus lepas ni mudah lah. Okay. Okay, for example, kita ada satu example related to wind lah. Consider for example a 15 knot wind. Or I have Google, dia lebih kurang 28 km per hour lah. Okay. 15 knot winds ni is not necessarily a hazardous condition. Dia dependent on the condition. Dia boleh jadi hazardous, boleh tak dia jadi hazardous. How? In fact, 15 knot wind blowing directly down the runway improve aircraft takeoff and landing performance. Kalau dia blow down the runway. Because why? Headwind. Headwind is preferred for takeoff and landing. Ini konsep pilot lah, kita tak apa tahu kan. Pilots prefer to land and take off in headwind because it increases the lift. Angin depan ni dia menaikkan lift kan. In headwind, a lower ground speed and shorter run is needed for the plane to become airborne. Okay. But if the 50 knot wind is blowing across the runway, dia cross, dia bukan ke arah atau tu, dia akan cross the runway. A crosswind condition is created which may be hazardous to operation. Maknanya bila melintang tu jadi crosswind dan dia akan jadi hazardous to operation. This is due to potential to contribute to aircraft instability. Dia boleh jadi unstable aircraft tu. The reduction in control could lead to an occurrence such as lateral runway excursion. Nampak tak kat sini? Macam kalau kita kata pokok aja spesifik kan. Dia is a generic hazard. Dia belum jadi specific hazard. So dalam kes ni pula 15 knot wind dekat airport pun sebenarnya belum jadi hazard. Dia akan jadi hazard kalau the direction of the wind. Kalau dia blowing across the runway is a hazard. Kalau is 15 knot wind blowing directly down the runway, dia jadi friend lah, jadi kawan pula. Kawan kepada pilot. Pasal dia cepat naik. Okay, so sekarang I hope everybody understand, all the participants understand. When spelling out the hazard, bila kita menulis hazard, we must make sure our hazard ni clearly stated. Jangan just general. Saya kadang-kadang nampak burung sebagai hazard. Okay. So yang ni belum spesifik sangatlah. Bad weather. Okay. Can you specific what type of bad weather tak? Because different bad weather, different dia punya safety measures kan. Bad weather can be heavy rain. Bad weather can be crosswind. Even kat sini pun kita nampak the 15 knot wind pun still belum jadi hazard kalau dia tidak direction dia. Faham tak? Direction dia kalau crossing the runway is a hazard. Kalau towards the runway, directly to the runway is not a hazard. So kat sini kita nampak how important we spell out kita punya hazard. Okay. Confusion between hazard and consequences. Okay, kita ada few minutes lagi before kita break. Okay, sometimes people confuse hazards with their consequences. Waktu awal-awal kita audit SMS ni, around 2007, 2008 tu, banyak orang confuse tentang hazards dengan consequences. Waktu tu lagi kita macam mix up dengan health and safety, DOSH, health and safety OSHA ni semualah. So dia macam ada term yang lain sikit lah. So tough juga, tapi now very clear lah. A consequence is an outcome. Dia dah jadi outcome. Lepas ni kalau ada video tu, you akan clearer lah. Consequence ni already outcome that can be triggered by a hazard. That's why hazard tu kalau nak tahu dia adalah with the condition activity. Macam tadi, case tadi adalah dia punya hazard dia apa? Pokok. Consequences apa? Itulah. Kereta melanggar tu ataupun lepas dia langgar dia boleh accident, patah kaki, cala dan sebagainya. For example, a runway excursion overrun is a potential consequences. Excursion ni kapal terbang terkeluar dari landasan kan, is a potential consequences related to hazard of a contaminated runway. Hazard tu contaminated runway. Jangan cakap runway, mesti cakap contaminated runway. Jadi kena familiarkan the difference between hazard and consequences. So dalam kes ni, IQ bagi example, excursion is a consequences of a risk lah kan. And hazard dia adalah contaminated runway. Okay, clear? So for this, I think we go for break. 1 o'clock. Thank you very much for attention. I think we continue at 2 o'clock. Okay, see you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.